Thank you so much, Makoral, for that energetic performance. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the singular honor to welcome you, Mama, to come and address us.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you today? Are you peaceful at heart? Peace begins from the heart and then spreads to the whole body. So I believe as we go talk about peace and how to build it, you are peaceful and you know that you'll begin building it from your heart. I must say that I'm so excited to be here. I'm always excited to be invited to talk because my biggest gift in life is my mouth. And as you know, when we one day go to see our Creator, we shall have to account for the gifts and talents He gave us. And for sure, I will tell Him that even that peace conference there at Coprings, I was also there and I talked to these people. And when I look around, I would love to see you around me and you give evidence that Matembe worked. But that can only be when we are before our Lord. Now, having said that, you know, I'm a funny person. When I stand at the microphone, when I receive it, what I've come to say is not necessarily what I say. What falls into my heart, I release it out. Because as I've told you, my mouth is a gift of God through which I deliver the word He wants me to speak. But I'm so glad to see you here, both men and women, talking about peace. Before any further, I want to tell people who find it tough and difficult to introduce Matembe, you don't have to find it like that. When they call you to introduce Matembe, you say that she's a senior citizen and a child of God. She's a lawyer by profession and a politician by calling. Mother, wife, and grandmother. Full stop. Because what else do I want? All those former things I was are no longer there. But I am here. When people start introducing me, former minister, I say stop formalizing me, I'm still here. So you talk about only those things which concern me there. First of all, I want to thank Isaac. Isaac, where are you? Because he's the one who invited me. I want to thank you for inviting me, but I want to accuse you before these people. When you are inviting me, you never made the subject specific to women. It was come and speak. We want you to be a keynote speaker at a conference talking about peace in electoral processes. Yeah. In fact, at first I refused. I said, you know, I love talking. But on this subject, I don't think I have anything to speak. Because I was looking at Ugandans speaking about how they can build peace and we have peaceful elections. I was saying, not Matembe to say that. Because standing there and saying I'll be telling lies. And Matembe never lies. Because for me, I see it as an impossibility. Especially in the physical, I see it as an impossibility, especially that the elections are down the road. How many months to go? And that what happened in Kawempe, you remember, I talked to the press and I remember I said this Kawempe issue is a precursor. 2026, at times I'm a prophet. But now that 2026, in Kawempe, despite all the challenges, we the people of God won. That is a precursor, 2026. That however much they fight, if we fight through our Savior and Keeper, we shall still do what? So when I thought about that, I said, don't worry, Matembe, go there and speak what everybody would speak. And, make sure that people will listen. But as they listen, I'll still say a concluding remarks. So thank you so much, Shade, for doing what you are doing. Because for sure, women are central for peace building. Because we are the people who produce the babies, we are the people who nurture them, rear them and nurture them, transform them into what they should be. We are the people. If only we could be let free to exercise our God-given potential, wisdom, and talents to transform our societies. Unfortunately, we remain prisoners of so many things which I'm not here to say, but which I always share with other people. For today is about violence outside the electoral process. So I want to thank you, Shade, for what you are doing. And I saw also UN Women. I want to thank the UN Women for supporting this project. And I wish to pray for you that you will play your part. Doesn't matter what may happen, but as long as you as an individual play your part, your accountability before your God will be upheld. Now I want to say that it is an honor for me to address you today on an issue of paramount importance to the democratic governance of Uganda. My subject is ensuring peace in our electoral processes. Elections are a fundamental pillar of democracy, offering citizens the opportunity to express their political will. However, electoral processes in Uganda have been marred by tensions, conflicts, and in some cases, or maybe many cases, violence. It is our collective duty to ensure that elections are conducted in an atmosphere of peace, tolerance, and respect for democratic principles. However, currently, elections, which are a process through which Ugandans are to elect their leaders, have been turned into war, which is a shame and abuse of democratic governance. Today here, because of time, I will outline key strategies that can help foster peace in Uganda's electoral processes, ensuring that democracy grows in the midst of our differences as a people in terms of religion, ethnicity, and political affiliation and gender. And so what I'm putting forward are those, the physical strategies that can help in ensuring that we have peaceful elections. One, strengthening, and in all these as I talk, because I didn't know that I was coming to talk about the influence of women, whatever strategy I put forward, you will look as to how the women and moreover the local ones will be able to influence and shape that strategy to work. And I think the panelists here will be delving into all those. Number one, strengthening electoral institutions. A robust and independent electoral body is essential for peaceful elections. The Electoral Commission must be well-resourced, impartial, and transparent in all its operations. Strengthening electoral institutions means ensuring that the electoral laws are clear, fair, and enforced equally for all participants. Confidence in the electoral process is a major factor in preventing electoral disputes that may escalate into violence. The current Electoral Commission is lacking in all these areas. You may have heard the Honorable Mao, the Attorney General of Uganda, after Kawempe elections, declaring the weakness of the Electoral Commission. If the whole Attorney General, who is advisor, a government advisor, I mean a state attorney, who is the government advisor, is telling us with the public that the Electoral Commission is weak for now. It is incapable of organizing free, violent elections. So, what do we do there? Note it down. How shall we strengthen the Electoral Commission? Especially we, the community, local community women, as you are talking about. Number 2, promoting political dialogue and tolerance. Political parties, candidates, and their supporters must engage in open and constructive dialogue. Platforms for cross-party engagement should be established to discuss grievances, policy differences, and electoral concerns peacefully. Political leaders must set an example by embracing tolerance and condemning any form of electoral violence rather than promoting it. I think I heard, I told you I'm a politician by calling. So when I talk political issues, don't feel shaken and scared like you people do. Following what I'm saying, embracing tolerance and condemning, political leaders must set an example by embracing tolerance and condemning any form of electoral violence. I heard the big person who is in control of the army that was torturing us, that he was going to promote that very person who hit that man's leg and broke it. What does that mean? Does that condemning the form of violence or complimenting it and hailing it? I'm putting forward the current environment in relation to the strategies I'm putting before you. Number 3, civic education and voter awareness. A well-informed electorate is less likely to be manipulated into violence. Civic education campaigns should be intensified to help citizens understand their rights, the importance of voting, and the need for peaceful participation. That kind of education is very, very important. Civil society organizations, religious institutions, and the media all have a role to play in educating voters about the dangers of electoral violence. But how can they do that when the political space is really closed and they cannot do their work? Organizations, religious institutions, and the media all have a role to play in educating voters about the dangers of electoral violence. I think you all saw what happened to media in the recent current elections. Media has got a very important role to play because it is the light of any process. Now, if you close media, it means you but me, I feel sorry. I don't want to leave what is written here. Many times I get off and power out things. For me, I pity these, I don't know, at times I try to get the nice diplomatic language, but I never get it because it was never created in my mouth. Otherwise, when I see these, I think ignorant, and I don't know, over confused leaders in this country. Openly, they are outside there hitting media, shutting down media. They are just telling the world that, please, we are doing evil things behind the scenes, so we don't want media to see them. You see, that one clearly shows, even before they do those wicked things, the moment you start bashing media and destroying it the way they were doing, those journalists, in this matter, there is something evil which you are hiding in darkness and you don't want it to get into light. And then I feel sorry for them. I say, but surely, is there any sense of wisdom in you? Shouldn't you know that? Now, point number 4, addressing electoral disputes through legal channels. Electoral disputes are inevitable, but the manner in which they are resolved determines whether peace prevails. Strengthening legal frameworks for addressing electoral grievances is crucial. Political actors must be encouraged to seek legal redress rather than resorting violence. I saw the shooting of the ballot boxes there. I said, but surely, what is all this? The judiciary must be impartial and efficient in handling electoral disputes to uphold public confidence in the process. Strategy number 5, engaging security agencies' responsibility. Security forces play a critical role in maintaining peace during elections. However, their conduct must be guided by professionalism, neutrality, and respect for human rights. Training security personnel on electoral-related conflict management, crowd control, and non-violent engagement with the public is key to preventing violent confrontations. Holding errant security officers accountable within the legal provisions of existing laws like the Human Rights Enforcement Act, Penal Code Act, and regulations that govern the behavior of officers and men in security is critical to ending impunity and addressing one of the causes of electoral violence, which is the unprovoked castigation of citizens by security officers during elections. Really, you can see, like in Kawempe elections, citizens were cool. Citizens were, that's why many of them did not turn up actually, because when they saw this kind of violence, nebagamba ntabai, wano wafira muloge. If I give you an example, for you, you are young people, you know I'm a senior citizen. You don't know where we came from with the history of Uganda. At one time, when Professor Rure, God rest his peace, soul in peace, when he had ruled Uganda for 78 days? 68 days. Thank you, senior citizen. And they took him off. And he was at the airport and closing him there to take him back to Dar es Salaam. You know the Baganda amazes me. The problem with Baganda, and I'm sorry, please forgive me. I have brothers-in-law, daughters-in-law in Uganda, in Busoga, everywhere. Me, I'm a national. But for them, Baganda, they pick something and turn it into Chigandarism. Because Rure was for us. We also wanted Rure. But for them, they said, hey, our man. So they they organized themselves and went from town. Twagara Rure, obatufa tufe. Twagara Rure, obatufa tufe. When they reached Katwe, hey, they found the machines. They were ready to catch them. And they say, oh, wanwafira muroge. They all ran away and disappeared. And Rure never came. I think poor man, he was brought here as a dead body and we buried him there at Kororo. So, that's it. The Kawempe people, they saw all these things and they were peaceful, honestly. Then they saw these things, they said, wanwafira muloge. Many did not come. It is those resilient ones who are very strong that dared the frame and they came on the scene. So surely, those people who castigate, they disturb citizens and provoke them to whatever, they should be dealt with and they should be trained on how to deal with them. So engaging security agencies' responsibility is a crucial strategy for stopping violence and having peaceful elections. Number 6, combating hate speech and misinformation. The rise of social media has made it easier for misinformation and hate speech to spread, fueling electoral tensions. There is a need for regulations to curb incendiary rhetoric while upholding freedom of expression. Media houses, journalists, and online platforms promote fact-based reporting and discourage inflammatory content. Then number 7, women and youth inclusion. Women and youth inclusion in peace building like you are trying to do right now. Women and youth are often at the forefront of electoral conflicts, either perpetrators or victims. Mainly, actually, the youth, women are generally victims. Generally. But some women also have become terrible, I'm telling you. When you see the policemen, where is the Kawempe? I said this with apology. When I see women police stripping women who are protesting for their rights and throwing them on the pickups, I pray to God to release fire to deal with them. Because how can you be a woman? Okay, you are arresting this person, but why don't you hold her decently and comfortably as a fellow woman who knows the privacy of a woman, the glory and dignity of a woman? Why do you strip naked a woman of God? Why do you? So, where was I now when I leave my things? Yes. Today I said I will restrict myself to reading. Otherwise, when I get off, hey, because I'm protecting you, that we don't get surrounding around here. Engaging these groups of peace building efforts is essential. Programs that promote youth participation in democratic governance and empower women to take leadership roles can significantly reduce electoral-related tensions. In Uganda, Bambe, the youth are really misused and abused, and I understand recently, are there any Banyankore here? Where are you? Put up your hand. They are not there, only the DPC. Now, when he catches you and he right, why do you discriminate? Why I brought Banyankore, I understand. Me, I'm busy. I'm too busy to go on social media and read these things. But yesterday at my fellowship at my cell, I was told that the people, the young people, marched on the streets of the Mbarara city, being protected and guarded by military and security, purporting to be the Bachezi in Mbarara. Did you see that? Eh? You didn't? You are just now, which piece are you talking about if you are not going to deal with such? You saw it. So it is not a lie. It was there on social media. So you can imagine the young people being used for that. Have they ever seen a Muchwezi? Do they know what a Muchwezi means? Muchwezi means what? Can you imagine being taken off God to such kind of thing? So Bambe, our youth, that's what kills me, that's what hurts me when I think of our children, when I think of the future of our children. That's why I prayed so much for the Kawempe elections for the young people. I prayed. I used to go at my altar and cry to the Lord until they came out, the people of God won. Didn't they? I will tell you what I prayed as I finish. Now, number 8, community-based conflict resolution mechanisms. Local leaders, religious figures, and cultural institutions play a vital role in resolving conflicts at the grassroots level. Establishing community peace committees to mediate disputes before, during, and after elections can prevent small disagreements from escalating into violence. Number 9, and this is the last one, in the major ones I was writing. Post-election reconciliation and healing. Elections often leave divisions among communities. National reconciliation efforts, including dialogues, truth-telling, forums, and peace-building initiatives, should be implemented to heal any electoral-related wounds. Political parties must be willing to accept results or challenge them legally while calling for unity after elections. So, the responsibility of fostering peaceful elections does not rest on one entity alone. It is a collective effort that requires commitment from political leaders, electoral institutions, security agencies, civil society, the media, and citizens. By upholding democratic values, promoting tolerance, and embracing dialogue, Uganda can conduct elections free from violence and conflict. Now, having said that, I was now telling you the strategies that everybody can say. But before I tell you now my heart, I want to share my heart in these matters, having listed all those strategies which everybody could give you. Now I want to share my heart with you. I want to begin by telling you these Kawempe elections. Of course, we are waiting for Kawempe elections. I don't think I expected this. Because one constituency like this, in all these constituencies in the country, where almost, I think what is the percentage of the government representatives in parliament? I think out of, is it 509? I don't remember the figures. But I know over 300 members are NRM government. Now, just one place in Kawempe, you will fight like a matter of life and death. Are you really human? So I didn't expect such elections to be like that. One constituency in Kawempe, even Uganda would not have had to know. Why should Uganda have been bothered about Kawempe elections? That was just one constituency. But the first day when I was moved into serious prayers for Kawempe was on the day of nomination. People were nominating their candidate. I mean, I am a politician. I know how nominations take place. They would give us time. You know, you get hours. You get time. At 10 o'clock, Matembe, come and be nominated. At 12 o'clock, Joy, come and be nominated. And of course, we would come with our supporters, with our people, and they are outside the registration place, and they are dancing for us as we get in and we get nominated, and we come out and dance. And even we used to walk along Mbarara Street dancing, Matembe, oh yeah, and mobilizing, of course, for votes as part of it. And the other opposition person would do the same. So this time, I see Kawempe person going to nomination. My goodness, what I saw there, even those people, they call them Jati, the one who were tying their mouths, and eventually they tell me that is anti-terrorist. Can you imagine who was terrorizing the people of Uganda? Who was terrorizing the people of Kawempe that they needed anti-terrorists to come and stop those terrorists? For sure, when I saw it, I said, no, it seems to have gone too far. People got injured, people suffered, and yet later on, I saw the whole yellow. Me, I see on my TV, the whole yellow dancing, you know, for the nomination of their candidate. Surely, what is this? What is this? So that led me into praying. I prayed, and then one evening after praying, I think I was coming from talking to people, I found my driver. My driver follows everything. He was there on his screen and he said, Mama, you don't know what has happened. I said, what is it? Predicting at the RDC in Kawempe. And then she showed me the video, and soon I saw a young man crying in the hospital. They had taken him to a hospital, and he was saying, my kidneys, my kidneys. I said, that night, I really died. Because me, I'm a mother. I told you I'm a senior citizen. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. And I was seeing young boys, young men who are like my children. They are being traumatized. The kidneys are kicked and all that kind of thing. So I now cry to the Lord for that young man. I don't know whether he has recovered. I don't know. And then you people focus here. Why are you focusing on the other people? You know I'm a teacher. I used to be a lecturer. When I'm here, you see, if I ask you what did I say, wouldn't you fail exam? You don't know what it means to come and spend this time here. I'm trying to win you over to what should be done. I'm contributing to your whatever. So leave those who are coming in, you will see them later and even discuss with them. So now where was I? You disturbed me. Okay. Senior citizens should not be detracted. Their minds go quickly. So I saw this young man. That night, I prayed and prayed. That's when I said I must pray for Kawempe. And now my prayer contained two things. I was crying to God to say, my God, please, we have had our young people die. They've been maimed. They've suffered. Please save the young people so that they don't die in these elections. Point number 2 of my prayer, I said, God, me. I've been saying God all the time to people. And your word says you do not put shame those who trust in you. And I told God, we know you are the superpower. You are in control. You are in charge. These people have what? They have chariots. They have horses. They have their bullets. They have everything. But we understand you are in control. And my prayer was, Lord, my God, those who trust in chariots and horses will fall down and will be brought to their knees and fall. And for us who trust in you, we rise up and stand. And so I told him, please, rise up with your power, with your authority. Reveal that indeed you are powerful. Reveal that indeed you are in authority. And defeat all those who have physical authority of resources, of guns, of everything. And I said, God, I am going to sleep knowing you have answered me. Amen. That was for the next day. Do you know that God answered me, you people? That's why I'm coming with my conclusion. God answered me in the morning when I went to read my scripture. I read about that story. How many of you read the word of God? Even you Muslims, what I'm talking about is there in that scripture. How many read the word of God? The less you are, the more suffering you'll be. So, in the morning, God brought me this word of God. That is a word of God which is found in the book of Kings somewhere. There was this prophet called Elisha. You know Elisha is a prophet. He used to reveal everything to the king so that the other kings of Aramis would not fight the king. Until one time the king said, you people, you take my secrets to the other king. I think we must find out who is betraying us. And then one man said, there is a man called Elisha, prophet in the kingdom of Israel. He's the one who reveals everything that is even in your bed. As you sleep in your bed, he's seeing it. Then the king said, take me to that man. I want to deal with him before I deal with the king that I want to fight. So they found out where Elisha was. So in the night, they moved and went and surrounded the city like those people were surrounding Kawempe. He went and surrounded the city, and in the morning, they wanted to catch Elisha. In the morning, the servant of Elisha woke up and said, oh, my king, my master, we are done, we are finished. Because the whole city is surrounded. And Elisha, because he was a man of God, he told his servant, those who are with us are greater are more than those who are with them. And he prayed that Elisha's eyes would open. And when Elisha's eyes opened, Elisha saw the angels of God around on the mountains with all the spears, with everything ready to deal with those who are down. Because for them they were up. I said, God, we have won. I knew we had won. And indeed, didn't we win? So although the next day they came and they did what they did in the first place, yes, they did injure and all that. But in Kawempe elections now, I did not hear any death. Was it there? You know nothing, you people. You don't follow things. Was it there? There was no death. So God answered my prayer. And then what happened? With all the guns, with shooting the ballot box, with all this money, with all these resources, with injuring our people, we did what? We won. The children of God who prayed, and God answered my call. God answered my call. And I was able to go on TV and say, you shameless, we have dealt with you. And then when they said that they were going to appeal against the decision, the electoral whatever, I also went on the TV and I brought the history, the scripture. I don't want to bother you with another scripture, but I brought it up and I think they are not going to bring the case. Eh? Yeah, because I told them, you people who can't hear, you are like Pharaoh. You are hardening your hearts like Pharaoh. Now that we have done it, you are following like Pharaoh followed the children of Israel. But what happened at Red Sea? Did he survive the Red Sea? I said, now you better chunga yourselves and stop that nonsense. Okay, so, having told you that, I want to come out with my biggest strategy, which I want to propose to you. Because the other strategies, you may not be in control. But the strategy I'm bringing to you from my heart, you'll be in control. And that's why I want to say that all these strategies which I'm giving you can only work in a conducive political environment created and promoted by government that has political will to build and strengthen democratic government. Unfortunately, our current militarized and dictatorial government, which is totally committed, unwavering commitment to stay in power forever at whatever cost, can't offer that good environment to implement these strategies which I have laid down here to you. At a time like this, where the policies of justice and fairness are ignored, as a result of which the rich have become richer and the poor have become poorer. The leadership has become self-centered, relying more on their power, security, and possessions than on God. Where the poor are so oppressed that it is so hard even for them to believe that God notices their plight. I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you and with my major strategy for us. And I want to say the most important strategy is for us to commit everything to God. As Ugandans who want peace, to commit everything to God, to repent. You know, Uganda was founded on the covenant with God. Through our motto, we say for God and my country. And through our national anthem, we pray and say, oh Uganda, we lay our future, your future in the hands of God. That is a covenant with God made by our forefathers. But what is happening right now, that covenant was broken. And you know when a covenant is broken, God does what he wants to do. And how do you retrieve God's will for you? You repent. You pray. Let's repent, pray, cry to God. And let each of us identify the particular part we can pray. We all have different talents, different kind of wisdom. Each of us can play a part as an individual to contribute to the peaceful environment which we can have. Because the current government cannot create that environment for us. So each of us will identify which part we are playing. And then we can play that part, God being our helper. And so I will end up by referring you to the biblical book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1 to 10, which says, let us put on the armor of God. We cannot fight those military what? Our weapons of fight are not carnal, so they are the armor of God. And this involves the belt of truth. You as an individual, be truthful. Are you truthful? Do you really want peace? Are you really determined and committed to have peace at any cost rather than anything else? Or the resources and the money and materialism can take you away even when you are interested in peace. Put on the belt of truth. If every Ugandan can be truthful in all the things we do, can't we defeat the army and everything else? Can't we? So put the belt of truth. And then there is these people who fight, they have a breastplate which they put here. Put on the breastplate of righteousness. Let right actions govern you. Let your mind and actions be governed by righteousness. Be righteous in what you do. I'm telling you, cannot be holy, but you can say, me, I will do what is right. When they come to make you steal votes, you say no. You know me, I have never robbed votes. I've never stolen votes. I used to vote one vote. One day, you know, when NRM was a movement, they used also, I think I came to learn that they were also rigging. Because I went to my vote, I used to be the supervisor in the Western region. One time I went to my polling station. I went with my boys. I think I had 2 boys in the vehicle with me. Said, come and see what we do when I'm not here. So the boys were in the vehicle, and I went out. I ticked my ballot, and I came to enter the vehicle. Then the returning officer came and said, Honorable, there are so many votes here. There are so many, and we were voting for our president, and Yona used to be opposition. So there is Museveni, there is Semuogerere. So he said, there are many votes here, they are remaining. You can come and tick. I said, what? Me ticking votes? I've already ticked mine. Then they said, but then I can see you have boys here in this vehicle. I said, these boys have not reached the voting age. He said, but he's tall, nobody would question. So I said, you go and talk to him. And you know, the man went to talk to the boy. The boy was standing by the vehicle there, and he went to talk to him. And then all of a sudden, I heard my sons, no, I can't go to prison. And the man said, shh, to the boy. And I felt so happy. I said, my boy is a boy of integrity. He knows that before he's 19, he cannot vote. So where are you yourself? The breastplate of what? Of right actions. You be governed by the principles of right action and divine order. Are you ready to be that? Are you ready to do that? And then, of course, peace. The peace of God. Is it a belt of peace? You must tie yourself, with the gospel of peace. Let peace govern you. Be able to know what would break peace and make sure you don't break it. And then, there is this faith. You know faith. Faith is this seeing the invisible, believing the impossible, and receiving what? The incredible. If you believe and see peace ahead of you and you claim it and so on, faith in the word of God. And then you put on then the word of God, the sword. Haven't I told you how I pray? And in fact, let me reveal this secret to you and you go and claim it. One time I was praying for this nation and I said, God, give me a word. I have prayed, I have talked to me. And while I was still crying, talk to me, the voice said, Isaiah 8 verse 10. And I quickly opened Isaiah 8 verse 10. I'm getting off, don't worry. I quickly opened Isaiah verse 10. Do you know what it said? It said, devise your strategies, divide your strategy, but it will be thwarted. Propose your plans, but they will not stand, because our God is with us. I said, my God. So every day that's what I pray. God, they are devising their strategy, but they will be thwarted. They are planning their plans, but they will not stand, because God, you are with us. The word of God is great in helping you to fight, to have peace in this land. And of course, the helmet of salvation. For me, I do all this because I handed my life to God, and so I'm saved. He protects me. People say, but why? This Matembe talks and so on. If you go and read Isaiah chapter 49, verse 1 to 4, it will tell you why I talk the way I talk. So I have left you positive and ready to pick what you should do and fight for freedom and peace.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, child of God, senior citizen, the Honorable Miriam Matembe. Thank you for your invaluable insights on the significance of the peace during the electoral processes, the community engagements, as well as the strategies that we should take. And I must say it's always an honor to tap into your knowledge and wisdom. And we will commit everything to God. We shall repent, as you say, and we shall also go back to the drawing board and reflect on in ourselves what exactly we want when we talk about peace. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be getting into the panel discussion, and a team, Judith, will be steering that. But allow me recognize Haji Nuru Njuchi. He is the RCC of Kawempe. Thank you so much. He's our guest of honor. Thank you so much for joining us. Also with him is Lubulwa Henry, the Assistant RDC of Kalangala. Thank you so much, Henry, for joining us. Without wasting any time, allow me invite Judith Atim. She is the head of programs at the Center for Constitutional Governance, and she is going to be introducing the panel. I'll give her the honors to introduce the panel, as well as the topic of discussion as in that regard. And thereafter, we shall also be having a question and answer session. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have a comment, question, there will be a time for that. So just hold on to your comments and questions. When your time comes, we shall give you the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mildred Pedun. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judith Atim. I am the head of programs at the Center for Constitutional Governance, but I'm also a media practitioner. I am pleased to be here at the Peace Conference on Electoral Processes in Uganda. Greetings to all of you, and I think without further ado, let me just dive in and invite our panelists, who will be, of course, our panel is quite diverse, from the political side, from the civil society, from government, from the religious sector, security, and the media. And they'll be discussing the causes of electoral violence and a range of other issues. But I think also from the conversations we've had so far from Dr. Matembe and others, we realize that our politics is quite polluted. It needs a lot of sanitizing, and I think also in this conversation, as we explore ways of building peaceful electoral futures for Uganda, I think it's also important for us to reflect on how best to restore sanity to our politics. Let me now take this opportunity to invite my panelists in no particular order. Pastor Godfrey Luwaga, who is the chairperson, NRM Kawempe Division. Pastor, kindly come over and take your seat. Mr. Robert Sempala. Okay. Okay. Let me invite Mr. Robert Sempala, my colleague from the media. He's the Executive Director, Human Rights Network for Journalists. Robert, you're most welcome. Ms. Rehma Nasuna, the Assistant District Elections Administrator, Kawempe Division. Rehma, you're most welcome to the floor as well. We also have Mr. Abel Muwonge, the DPC Kawempe Division. Afande, you're most welcome. And last but not least, Dr. Serunjoji Emmanuel, NUP Chairperson and Mayor Kawempe Division. Your Worship, you're welcome. I have been informed that Pastor Luwaga is not around, and I don't know if there is a substitute from the NRM who could actually come and represent him. If there is, this person kindly just come over and take his seat. Thank you very much. Where is the DPC? Kawempe Peter. Okay. Okay. I am told that we have Mr. Kawempe Peter, who will be replacing Pastor Godfrey Luwaga. Mr. Kawempe, please, you're most welcome. He's the administrator for NRM. I've not got the title very well. Mr. Kawempe Peter, if you're around, kindly come and take over your seat. And then Mr. Muwonge, the DPC for Kawempe Division, he was seated somewhere here. I don't know if he has stepped out. So this panel session is 1 hour. We'll have a range of questions. So if we're having 5 panelists, that means on average, everyone will be speaking for 20 minutes across throughout the entire conversation, not at once. Do we proceed or? Okay, I am told that Pastor Luwaga is on his way, but I don't think we shall wait for him to join to get here. I don't know how far along he is. But also, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's...
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm called Emmanuel John Bosco. I have a concern to our conductors of this workshop that Madam Matembe made a very good submission, but some of us who don't understand English missed some points. So I beg that our panelists try to mix at least so that we can all understand. Thank you very much.
I haven't got the issue very well. To mix English and Luganda?
Luganda, yes.
Okay, fine. I think we have everyone else here who can actually articulate this very well. I think we are 3, you're 3 people on the panel, and I think let's just start the conversation. The others will join us along the way. We're talking about moving from conflict to consensus and how to build peaceful electoral futures in Uganda. And all of you here, apart from Robert, I think, you're from Kawempe Division. Robert works for a national CSO that handles media across the country. So, but before we go into the depth of this discussion, I would first of all just want to ask one question. From the experiences we had, or what we witnessed in Kawempe, what key lessons did you take from your respective spheres, whether it's from politics, media, government as the Electoral Commission? I'll start with you, Rehma. What was the biggest takeaway or lesson from the experience of Kawempe? And how do you intend to do better going forward?
My name is Rehma Nasuna. I'm the Assistant District Election Administrator for Kawempe Division, Electoral Commission. So I've been asked what might take my biggest...
Your lesson, not just you as an individual, but as an institution.
As an institution.
Yes.
We learned not to take anything for granted, because we prepared meticulously for this by-election. We did a lot of stakeholder engagements. We did a lot of publicity on TVs, on radios, moving around using community radios, but we never saw this coming. Whatever violence happened. So as an institution, we've learned that there is need for reforms in laws, because the Electoral Commission doesn't have the mandate, for instance, to punish whoever committed such offenses. There is no law about that. So as an institution, we've learned that we need more reforms in that regard. Yeah.
Thank you. But you certainly have the mandate to ensure free and fair elections.
Yes.
But do you think you actually lived true to that mandate?
Yes, we did.
I'll come back to that later. Yeah. Robert.
Yeah, thank you very much. From where I sit, from the media perspective, that no one is safe, not even the innocents, because the beating was spreading to everyone that was around, including the honorables, the journalists, and the well-wishers. I don't know if they beat some politicians from the ruling party, so that lesson is very big for us. And as journalists, we learned that you cannot take anything for granted, like the EC has said, but also they realize a need to empower the commission more to be in firm grip of elections. Today, they were bystanders like every one of us. Actually, their hands were really tied. Thank you.
Thank you. Fandi Muwonga, you're most welcome. As you settle down, we've just started our panel discussion, and we are still reflecting on the Kawempe. If you could turn off your microphone. We are still reflecting on the experiences of the Kawempe North by-election, and the first question I've just posed to all of you is, what are the key lessons that you learned institutionally from this experience, and how do you intend to do better as we count down to 2026? Thank you very much, Robert. Your worship, your key takeaway from Kawempe.
Thank you so much. Dr. Emmanuel Serunjoji, Owedembe, the mayor of Kawempe Division. When I saw Owedembe, Mr. Njuchi, just understand that the peaceful one, I'm the peaceful one. Owedembe. If you don't know the translation of Owedembe, it means peaceful. Yeah, I'm the chairman of NUP in Kawempe, as well as the mayor of Kawempe Division. Yeah, the question is clear. What did we learn in the just concluded by-elections? As a person, as a political head, and as a leader, I saw impunity in the just concluded elections. And basing on what we saw, I stand to be corrected. Even my colleague, the RDC, can tell, and the DPC, that this regime, or the NRM government, can do whatever it takes when it needs to take, just one post or anything. Because what we experienced was caste character in the just concluded elections, where even the powers of the security structures were overtaken, The RCCs are aware that he had no command by that time. And as a result, there was no control on the violence we saw. And that was the aim of the regime, because it wanted something. It wanted just that post. A lot of money was spent, and lucky enough we got the information that money was injected in to make sure that they take that post. That's what I say, that if the regime is in need of anything, they can do whatever it takes. And I saw splash of and misuse of taxpayers' money, because the NRM government has no business. They use taxpayers' money. From the word go on nomination, even before nomination, the money which was spent up to the latter was enormous, and you can't say that they wanted that post, only that post, and they could splash all that amount of money. The security, I can say as a political head that maybe the security which was meant for the whole region that time was brought to Kawempe North constituency, just the Kawempe North constituency. And even the post-match, I think we shall discuss the post-match later, after the elections. That one will talk about it. But still, we are still going through the same experience. And that's why I can't rule out that there was no death. I can't rule out that. Not until maybe we institute an investigation. I can't tell whether it's true that no one died after that violence. The bullets which were fired, the tear gas, because someone might not die of a bullet, direct bullet or live bullet, but after that violence, we can't tell how many people passed on after 2 days or 3 days. So I can say that the elections were made by violence, impunity, misuse of taxpayers' money, and a biasness, of course, I can tell you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Afande Mwonge, just your quick take and what you have learned as an institution charged with law enforcement. We shall come back to the question of security deployment and whether or not it was actually necessary, and also we'll scrutinize the EC some more later on. But Afande, the mic is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Our viewers and listeners, fellow panelists, good afternoon. My name is Lieutenant of Police Mwonge Abel. I happen to be the DPC of Kawempe. I think, moderator, we need to stick on the questions so that we don't incite violence in this room. I know my brother, the mayor of Kawempe, when you give him a microphone, he will try to provoke you so that you get out of your mind. But he knows me very well that I've never gotten out of my mind. But of course, like a politician, he'll look for news so that tomorrow he's voted back into office. About the by-elections, yes, there are lessons to learn. I want to believe that it was at short notice, and there was ill-preparedness on our side and also on the side of the Electoral Commission. It was in a period of only 1 month, I believe, and all eyes were on Kawempe North constituency, where you hear the mayor talk about the concentration of forces in Kawempe North. I would also wish to ask him what happened to the members of NUP all over the country. I would see members of parliament of maybe Masaka, the mayor of Masaka was here, Arua, what were they doing in Kawempe? So all eyes were on Kawempe because the by-election was only in Kawempe. So the concentration was here, and there is no way you would say, would leave out the issue of security untouched. By and large, I want to believe that the general election, we are all aware that it is going to be in 2026, and we have prepared ourselves for the last 5 years. So it will not be like the by-election. By-election comes amidst tension, on short notice.
But this is not the first by-election Uganda is having. We've had several by-elections within a short period of time, and still we don't see the scale of violence and chaos that we saw.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe I want to bring it to your attention that we are almost nearing the general elections. And this was, maybe I would say, a precursor. And whoever would win this, hopefully would think that would win the general elections. So everyone had to concentrate here in Kawempe North to ensure that they take the seat and also look at the general elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll come to, so you raised an important issue when you were just starting your submission. Ladies and gentlemen, the ground rules were set a long time ago when we were starting this conference. I think Mildred made it very clear. Some of these discussions might sound a little provocative, but we are here to have a sane and sober conversation. Politics is quite a sensitive matter, but we don't want anyone to lose their cool. Let's remain civil. Let's just have a conversation. But also why I am starting from what happened, because we're looking at Kawempe as the case study. And we know the things that happened during the by-elections were not very pleasant things, and we certainly have a lot of lessons to learn. And for us to forge that path towards consensus, we need to address the ills that we actually saw at that time, because we cannot just, you have a wound that is festering, you don't just cover it with a small bandage and hope it will go away. So if I'm asking certain difficult questions, it's not because I'm trying to put someone on the edge or make them uncomfortable, but these are difficult conversations and we must have them before we actually think of having a better future, a more peaceful electoral process and so on. Rehma, you earlier said there was really not much preparation, and you didn't foresee that things would get out of hand as an electoral body. But also, when you said you think you stuck to your mandate, which is to ensure free and fair elections, can you just unpack for us and the audience what free and fair elections actually look like or should look like, so that we can actually see whether what happened here, whether you actually provided that infrastructure for Kawempe?
Thank you so much. Like I said earlier, we prepared. Yes, we had 60 days because we did not prepare for the death of the late Honorable Segirinya. We had 60 days to prepare a by-election, and already we had a roadmap for the general election ongoing. It was not easy, but we did our best as Electoral Commission. We started with a stakeholders meeting. And on this day, it was 27th, I think, January, we unveiled what would happen for the next 60 days. We invited so many people here. Actually, I'm seeing so many faces of people that attended that stakeholders meeting, political leaders. Dr. Kawempe, Emmanuel, I think, was there. Religious leaders, representatives of political parties, so many people from civil societies as well. And we unveiled, we gave them a roadmap, what we would do, when, and at what point. We did the update exercise successfully and transferred people, those who wanted to transfer. We even had students who had turned 18 years in schools. We also got those new registrations. So after the update exercise, we displayed the register. But before we displayed, we even got a tribunal through the Kawempe court. There's a magistrate there who came and vetted them. So they came and cleaned up the register. We went ahead and displayed the register. We went ahead and gave guidelines before nominations to the candidates. So we prepared.
But those are procedural matters.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
When it comes to ensuring free and fair elections, when you see there's an unprecedented scale of violence, what would you ordinarily do?
No, there was no violence in the beginning. It started from nomination.
Yes.
And even then it was outside Electoral Commission after they had left our premises. That's when security came in. We had no violence whatsoever at each stage.
But we are talking about the electoral process. So the process does not just start at, your work does not just start at and stop at cleaning the register and so on. It goes all the way until this person takes, until the tallying of results and the gazetting. I think that's where your role stops as an EC.
Yes.
So if you saw the process was actually being violent and that was an electoral process, even if it was outside your premises, that was still a process that you were in charge of overseeing as a commission.
Yes, we
so
did that.
Didn't you? So when I'm asking about ensuring free and fair elections, constitutionally, the EC has the power to actually put a stop to an election. Am I wrong, Dr. Matembe? Yes, you have constitutionally. If things are getting out of hand, you have the mandate to say we are stopping this process because it is no longer what we are working for. But you did not do that. So that is why people question and fault the EC for not doing their work or not delivering on their mandate. So when you say you actually did your bit, are you proud that you actually oversaw a process that was so messed up like this?
For our part, I think we did what we could do.
Was it good enough? Was it good enough?
At some point, I think you remember, we invited security agencies.
That's another issue.
We invited security agencies as Electoral Commission, all of them. We had a meeting with them, an engagement meeting, stakeholders meeting. We talked to them about that issue. But like I said, there is need for reforms. EC does not have the mandate, the power to punish, to do some of those things. You know, it's our sister agencies.
It's okay.
We
shall open the floor to comments and questions later on. Robert, I see you want to actually say something, or would you like to comment to what she has just said?
I'm very happy with the answer because she's being very honest, that they did what they could under the circumstances. Like I said, their hands were as tied as anyone else's. Yeah? They couldn't avert the violence. They only fell short of one step to say under the circumstances we cannot allow campaigns or elections to go on because of this violence. I think they fell short of that. Because in order to save life, anybody that is firmly in charge of a process would really demonstrate leadership. You do not relegate your powers and leadership to the forces that are really so masked, that are beating up everyone on site, that are kicking boxes. I think the commission should never have conducted that as a regular, free, fair, and credible process. So I think we fell short of that. On our part, at least the media houses acted. They evacuated the journalists, saying our journalists are not safe. We cannot allow them to continue to cover until the situation has changed. I think everyone should have done that. Because in here, we have casualties. I've seen Miracle. If you saw that journalist whose blood was oozing out of his eyes and face, I think Miracle is here. Miracle, are you here? Miracle. Yeah. The man is there.
Yeah.
Good enough, he has gotten back to his feet. I have Robowa in there. Raymond, many. But that was where somehow everybody was taken by surprise. It was a bit late when the media houses evacuated their own. But for the commission, I think going forward, we cannot witness or preside over an election that is so chaotic, where the police became a bit helpless, and they would say, if we had intervened, they would have beaten us as well. So how you can't say that was a regular process.
True. Thank you. Your Worship.
Yeah, the EC, they were at the beginning, even before the D-Day, having realized that it's one of the candidates, because you are aware that our candidate, Nalukola, had the properties of Electoral Commission. Those are the forms which are issued to a candidate when you are nominating. And the EC got information that the documents were confiscated by the security personnel. Even the appearance of the security personnel in numbers, they knew that there was something wrong and something unfair in the elections. Still, they did not pronounce themselves about that, even either stopping, as my colleague has said, or condemning whatever happened. Because I wish they pronounced themselves on that. Maybe a statement was issued on that very day. Maybe it would have assisted us to have maybe a better election process from that day. But the Electoral Commission kept mum on that day, irrespective of what happened on that day. And they got to know about it even before we improvised. And we had to tussle it out to make sure that our candidate gets nominated. Then after, the security, as I have said, I agree with my colleague that those elections would have been suspended, not until the ground was leveled to all candidates. And they knew there are so many irregularities in those elections. I can give you just an example. When we were still in elections, we had a venue which was on our program. When I say on our program, I want people to differentiate me from being a mayor and get to know that I'm the chairman of an UP. And all of a sudden, we were stopped. We just woke up in the morning when the venue is overtaken by the security personnel, the members and the rest. Still, they did not advise the other side, which shows, in fact, those are the few issues I can mention that the EC, we perceive the EC as being partial in those elections. On the election day, Madam Moderator, as a commander, I had to move around. In Imbogo, where the problem started, the machines, you could imagine, we needed only 197. We had only 197 electoral polling stations. But we are talking about a commission which is mandated, which is presumed to have capacity to hold national elections for the whole country. But the machines which were provided on that polling station were faulty. We had to wait. I don't know if it was a tactic or not. We had to wait until around 10 a.m. to commence the elections. And we don't know up to now. We haven't got any statement from Electoral Commission why it was like that. And when we saw what happened thereafter, it's like, and that is the very polling station where commotion commenced, where the commotion started. And we are still asking ourselves many questions. What exactly, what was the sense of bringing faulty machines at that very polling station? And it's the very polling station where commotion started. And it's the best polling station in Kawempe North, if you are to win Kawempe North, because that is the most densely populated, and you expect it. So we're asking ourselves. So to me, I have so many questions.
Thank you. Someone had made a request earlier that that discussions should also be translated in Luganda. I don't know how many people are comfortable with a conversation in English and how many would actually want it blended Luganda and English. Just by show of hands, please. How many? Huh? Are you comfortable? Oh, everyone is okay with English? Okay. But the person who raised the issue, are you okay? You're fine. But if you prefer, okay, we need to move together as a group, even if it's one person. I'd request you, our dear panelists, throw in a little bit, at least let's not leave anyone behind. Let's move together. Even if 99.9% might be comfortable, let's not leave the 0.1%. I want us to talk about also the role of security forces in our elections. Rema, Doctor has raised a question for you. You'll respond to that. But for now, Afande Muonge, and I know as police, you do have a role to play in our elections, crowd control, law enforcement. But the question has been, and what a lot of Ugandans are wondering, does a by-election or an election of any kind warrant this kind of security deployment? And we are talking about the military specifically and the JAT. What exactly is the role of the military in our elections? What role do they play? If you could just respond to that, because you work together with them.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. One, I want to go back to, a little back to Electoral Commission. I see a lot of people blame Electoral Commission. I want to believe that they did their role. They played their part. Why? On the day of nomination, Honorable, our mayor says that the documents of their candidate were confiscated. And I remember very well, I was there. Electoral Commission provided new documents to their candidate. Amidst filling the documents, a gentleman came with the documents which they claimed were confiscated. I even requested these people, please, let's go to police and report this matter. To date, it has never been reported. These are political gimmicks that they want favors from the public. And of course, they got it right. He talks about a venue being overtaken by police or security or military. How I wish Honorable Sebirumbi was here. He was the political assistant to their candidate, Honorable Nalukola Luyimbazi. And it was a mutual understanding. I was there myself. I talked to him. We agreed. We even looked at the program and we said, the other playground in Komamboga was free that day. And they decided themselves that they would wish to go to Komamboga. And they left. I have a footage here that I took when they were leaving peacefully. And they are here telling us that the venue was covered by security. I went there at around 9. Media houses were there. It's unfortunate that the media only focuses on things that make news. Very unfortunate. Because I arrived at 9, nothing was there. I talked to Mr. Sebirumbi. They had not even unpacked their equipment. They were still on the roll. I have a footage. I can share it with anyone here. And they left peacefully. We agreed they go to Komamboga. They reached Komamboga and addressed the media. Security has stopped us from being the other side. They have pushed us here. I said, fine. I was watching on news, NBS. And all of a sudden, after putting their stage, everything, the candidate decides now to come back to Wise. And they wanted to cause commotion on Gayaza Road. Anyone here would believe or accept that this was uncalled for. A procession from Komamboga through Gayaza Road to Wise. And all they wanted was attention of the public. And of course, they were getting it right.
But
So,
this is a political campaign.
Colleagues, no, what does it call for?
Mobilize, getting support.
Processions?
I think when we
Does
had
it call for processions?
Matembe,
What does the law say on
you'll probably
processions?
help us on that later.
What does the law say? We need to be frank. Honorable Matembe is supposed to be a panelist. I don't know why she's seated the other side.
She gave a keynote. She will speak later. She's a senior citizen. We shall drink from her cup of wisdom during the plenary session.
I respect Honorable
Yeah,
Matembe.
she's also asked something about NRM. What about the NRM procession?
Like I told you.
Does the law apply selectively?
Madam Panelists, I think you need to protect me from the public.
I will. You are protected. You are protected.
So Honorable, my brother, the mayor and the chairperson of NUP, when we are talking to the public, let us tell them the truth, because this will save us. And you know, violence starts from here. The more you spread lies, the more you create violence. And that's the reason why we are here.
Yeah. But Afande, I asked the role of the military, other than the police. What was the role of the army, the heavy deployment of military vehicles, the masked men in JAT uniforms? What was their role in a civilian election?
Thank you very much. I know you don't want the truth to be unpacked. And when I talked about it, you never wanted it to be.
No, that is what we actually
but now
are here for.
I got to the role of the military. It is a constitutional mandate, and every one of you here knows that the police always works with the sister agencies whenever called upon. And in this by-election, we invited them. Was that wrong? Were we working out of the Constitution?
What was the scale of threats that required?
Were we working out of the Constitution?
No, no, it's okay. Your time will come, Your Worship. Just a moment.
You see, like I told you, let's tell the public the truth.
And I agree, I agree that's why we are
and
here.
And the whole truth will save us. And when we tell the public the truth, we shall be peaceful. And we shall prepare ourselves for the general elections.
Okay, so you say constitutionally it's allowed for police to invite sister security agencies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So in this particular, what was their role? Is what we're curious to know. What was their role?
The role of police is to protect law and
order, yes. And the ones, the military and JAD,
yes,
which you invited, what was their role?
It is a reinforcement. Is it open to the public?
We're not yet at plenary. Just take notes and then we'll open the floor at a later time. I want to protect, I said earlier, this is a provocative conversation. We don't want tempers to flare. We want to have a sober conversation. We are still looking at where the problem is, and then later we look at the solutions. And we can only do this together. We can only do this when we have a candid conversation and we also come to terms with some uncomfortable truths on either side, whether it's on their side or on the side of the politicians, but we need to have a candid conversation. So I'll just ask you to just take note of the issues you want to raise. When that time comes, we'll give you the microphone. Afande, have you finished? You are still talking?
I'm done.
Yeah, okay, fine. So you said you invited police, you invited the military to reinforce the sister security agencies.
The sister security
okay,
agencies.
fine.
Am I allowed to
please,
seek
please.
clarification on one of the issues?
Please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Wana DPC, he said we are here to speak the truth and the only truth. Is it true that the anti-terrorism team were invited by the DPC, and the DPC is taking responsibility of whatever happened as the commander of security in Kawempe division? I want him to boldly tell us that he's taking responsibility as the commander.
Would you like to respond to that now?
Thank you, Mayor. whenever there is such elections, we do an operational order. And the operational order is very clear. I would invite you to refer yourself to the operational order. Thank you.
Has he answered your question?
No, not
okay.
really.
It's okay. Let's just hold that. Rehma, you want to come in and respond to what Mayor earlier asked? The issue of faulty equipment, the technical issues that actually marred the process. Would you like to respond to that?
Oh, yeah. Dr. Emmanuel talked about faulty machines, but I don't think he was there in the morning when the polling stations were opening at Mbogo, because there are several polling stations at one polling center. We had only one polling station that had an issue of a password. And within minutes, our IT team had come up to change the password. The rest of the polling stations delayed starting to vote because of the 10 people, you know?
To verify.
To verify.
The process.
Because on that day that the voter turn-up was very low. So most of them didn't start on time because of that issue. It wasn't because we had faulty biometric machines. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert, I'm sure you want to respond, but I also have a specific question for you. I think when Dr. Matembe was making her keynote, there was an issue that came up about misinformation, fake news, hate speech, and we've also heard that, I think, by someone else who came before her. And a lot of times the thinking is when you now have media operating in such a violent space, I mean, mainstream media that performs its gatekeeping duties of ensuring that it relays what it actually captures as accurate, what then does that mean to free speech, to actually the truth coming out to the public?
Certainly, evil thrives under the cover of darkness. And in the presence of the journalists or the media, we certainly know that darkness is being undone. So where journalists are attacked, you know that they cannot collect, let alone disseminate information for the public to be aware of what is happening. So they are not following. The journalists many times are victims and innocent victims because they are the ears and eyes of the public. So they go in to fish for stories, not for any other purpose, but to relate to the public. And where they are interfered with is a direct affront to press freedom. It is a scar on our effort to democratize as a country. And the journalists play a watchdog role. In that regard, they act as observers, independent at that. I used to work with SEDU, and Honorable Matembe was my board chairperson, until we were banned to date for very unclear reasons. But while there, we used to get a lot of information from media reports as well, where we had our observers on the ground who would get a lot from what the media would say, because the media can be everywhere at the most right time. And where you see journalists being chased after, not because they have provoked the security forces, not because they are not well blended, not because they have spoken or not spoken, but because they hold cameras and are recording and relaying what is happening. You certainly know that it is a very big concern for all of us, not only some of us that are in media development, but everyone that consumes the works of the journalists. The DPC has said that it's very important that journalists focus their attention on things that make news. And that is the very essence that they exist for things that make news, not for things that don't make news in any case. And there are fundamentals which prescribe how a story is, is fished, the process goes through until when it is relayed to the wider public. It must be newsworthy. Because many things happen in the course of the day. You cannot cover all of them. Even in an election, you cannot cover everything that happens. But there are things that stand out, things that are odd, things that attract impact, things that don't happen every time, everywhere, things that are irregular. That's how the media works. And I think it's possibly an information gap that we can work to bridge with the security forces for them to appreciate how the media works. The media actually doesn't work like security forces, yeah? That somebody issues them an order and they're going to all roundly act and they're supposed to act as such in unison. The journalists act differently. And for this purpose, we can never know why they were beaten to that extent, not irrespective of where they came from. Before, the journalists that would really escape a beat, they were lucky. This time, no journalist was lucky. Yeah? And we have not yet gotten a report from the security forces why journalists were beaten. You know that we slapped a blackout on security activities as HRNJ, the owners, the editors, you know, Wuja, many media entities, because we were really aggrieved by what happened. To date, I think the security force is a bit adamant. They don't care, you know. I think they know that evil can flourish even when, best when there are no cameras. We want to create a rapport, a relationship that is very good between us and the security forces, because we cannot avoid each other. We operate in the same spaces. And for that regard, continued assault on journalists has had a scar even on our international ranking as a country in terms of press freedom. We are 133, according to Reporters Without Borders, out of 180 countries. We are performing so poorly. According to Freedom House, in terms of ranking, in terms of the freedom status, Uganda only has about 34%, which is a very poor ranking. 10% to do with the political rights, and 24% to do with the civil liberties, including press freedom and things to do with the elections. So we are performing so poorly, and we should not have any excuse whatsoever to justify what happened in Kawempe. And if we are going to shift away from conflict to consensus, it means people must own up what happened. And I think that was a direct question to the DPC from Dr. Serunjoji, to own up if they indeed invited the sister forces, and what they did could be owned up by the police. But what he has referred him to read, maybe you'll find the answers. Yet the very person is here who would kindly, out of courtesy, give us those answers so we can leave this place with consensus on what happened and accordingly pave a way forward on what we can do in the future.
Thank you very much, Robert. And we're actually running out of time, so Your Worship, you'll be the last. And I think I'll open the floor for plenary. Let's have questions after His Worship, and then we build the consensus on how do we move, okay? Is that okay with everyone? Your Worship, the microphone is yours again.
Thank you so much, and I want to start by praising our keynote speaker. I'm commenting her presentation, and I want to add on her presentation that elections we are witnessing now, the violence we are witnessing now in elections takes us back, and we ask ourselves, when did this start? Because elections were here before. Those of us who did not participate in the elections of 1980, I think it was 1980, were they violent to the magnitude of what we are witnessing now? No. And we should ask ourselves, yes, we appreciate that some malpractice took place and elections and votes were rigged by that time. Yes, it's true. But why there were no violence to the extent we are witnessing now? We should ask ourselves. Then when it came to elections, the preceding elections, 1996, when we had elections, where we had, of course, there were not, we had no much violence still, much as, again, the results, the way they rigged the results, did not call for violence as it is, but still, the election, the results were also changed in a way. But starting 2001, that's when we started to experience violence. In 2001, we had mild violence and election rigging again. Then 2006, it started to escalate until to the previous elections, And the previous elections of 2021, I can't say that it was violence. It was murder, because so many lost their lives in those elections. It was war, as people have said. It was war. The reason why we are witnessing this, it's because some people want to cling on power, and they are doing whatever it takes to make sure that they stay in power. That is what we have already experienced. And it's true, it's obvious. Because why are we seeing that? Why are we having all those security forces in elections? And now I can tell you and the public that they are recruiting. And whenever we are nearing elections, they recruit. And they have already started the process. I'm the mayor of Kawempe division. Time and again, I'm recommending people to go and join forces. They are putting up a force. And that force, the only reason why they are putting up that force is to use them in elections, which is very unfortunate. We are looking at a time when these people will just get a will of having free and fair elections. To know how other countries behave in elections, we can just copy from other countries, even nearby countries. Yes, I can say in Kenya, there was some violence, but not to the magnitude of what we are experiencing here now. And when you see security personnel, I'm happy to be with my colleague, the RDC, because he has the same jurisdiction as I have. And he says the chairman of security. I will not dwell much on that, whether I'm the chairman by law as per the National Security Council or he's the chairman. But I can say that he can stand and say, I think we are overtaken. Mm-hmm. Their powers were usurped by those people who came, and they had a mission, and a mission which was not fulfilled by the will of God, because the presenter stated it well, that the will of God superseded the desires of the men, and we got what we got. But are we going to be in that situation whenever we near the election time? Mm-hmm. These people have to come back to their senses and say elections should be, and Uganda doesn't end on one person or one party, but even it should be, it's prevail even after, and that is it.
Thank you, Your Worship. Afande, you wanted to respond to him, and then I open the floor.
Just a few things.
Yeah, sure.
I want to thank Honorable Dr. Matembe. I think she dissected reasons why we have political violence today. You can't compare 1980s today to date. And the reasons are very clear. There is technical advancement, there is drug abuse, there are a lot of things. When you compare 1980 to the current situation, I think we are totally different, And Mayor, I know he's a doctor, and I want to believe that he knows this. About the recruitment, you are much aware that we are running into the sub-county policing model. And we want 18 police officers at each sub-county. And we don't have these numbers. And we are recruiting. And the mayor is here busy lying to the public that we are recruiting for elections. Please, please, please. Mayor, you know that in our sub-county we need 18 police officers, and we don't have the numbers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I need someone to help me move the microphone around. Starting with here, I'll ask you to be very, very brief, but also when you raise your question, I would also want to hear solutions. I don't want us to problematize. We're here to build consensus. So ask a question, but also at the back of your mind, how do you think we can actually have peaceful electoral processes and futures? How can we have sanity restored to our politics? And also, please don't be so emotive, don't let your temper be in control of what you're saying. Be as civil as possible. We are not here to fight. This is not war. We are here to build consensus. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Alex Rovans, a member Election Management Committee, NUP. My question goes to the security gentleman, Mr. Eber. Abel. Mr. Abel, we are told that the technique that are now deploying, you are recruiting 400 people, relatively and roughly, per constituency in Uganda, in Buganda, and you want to deprive them of their right to vote. You are not intending to recruit and train them for vote protection, but you intend to keep them non-deployed in elections. And 400 times 78 per constituency, in the constituencies in Uganda, 400 times 78, it makes a total of 31,200. These people are recruiting. They don't intend to deploy these people. They want to just maintain them for purposes of 2026 elections. Please clarify on it. Secondly, the injustice and the double standards cause violence in elections. I was a supervisor accredited by Electoral Commission in the recently concluded by-election in Kawempe. I was being stopped from getting access to the tally center, the polling stations, but because of the knowledge and the civic articulative arrangement that I have, I competed with NRM supervisors who were close to the polling stations, allowed to get there, but I was being stopped by the JAT and police people that you deploy. How do you intend to deal with that double standards? Because had I insisted, I would have been beaten, brutalized, just because I was fighting for the right. Lastly, as we mitigate the violence, it is not us, the stakeholders. It is you, EC, the RDCs, and the people that manage elections. Roughly, in Kawempe by-election, most of the polling stations and the ballot papers and boxes, ballot books, each of the ballot boxes, they had connived with Electoral Commission. NRM had connived with Electoral Commission, and they were placking two papers from each booklet at an average of 10 per polling station. What chaos would have happened had we insisted on calculating the number of papers per polling ballot paper? I mean, EC had connived with the NRM candidate to pluck out 2 leaflets from each ballot booklet. There were 187. I have evidence to that. Violence comes from what you people do during elections. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. Very candid questions, and we are talking about unearthing the truth before we can move forward. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Bakoja Badru Makumbi. Bakoja Badru Makumbi is my name. The Deputy Mayor Kawempe Division Urban Council. If we are looking at how we can improve and have a better election, first and foremost, the security organs must desist from causing violence itself. I was with the candidate Narukora on the nomination day because I was the proposer for him, and as we worked with him, we were grabbed when we were less than 100 people, less than 50 people moving to the station where we were to be destined, grabbed by the so-called JAT, who had masked their faces because these are goons collected from our areas, so that they cover their faces and people don't recognize them. And remember very well, Bwana DPC, when we had the Minister for Youth claiming that these JATs are not known to the army or to the security organisms, but they were cooked up by NUP, which was very, very unfortunate. And these very people entered the polling stations like when you go to Kawempe, Mbugandi, Kazangola. They entered when the police officers were seeing them. They didn't take anything or stop them at any one given time. But when they commit atrocities, you disown them. When they do what you claim that you call them for your assistance, if at all we had only election in the Kawempe division and the only one constituency, that was Kawempe North, why didn't you deploy police forces from around Kampala to take charge of the elections instead of calling military and JAT.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to ask you all to be very brief because it's already almost 3 minutes to 1, and by now we should have been winding up.
The DPC lastly said that we had, it was referring us to the procession guidelines, that if you want to carry on a procession, you do this or that. What did the NRM do after the nomination when they actually walked around the whole Kawempe division in hundreds or thousands? That any UP never did, that actually provoked you to do what you did, and even transferring there would be the programmed timetable for candidates that they were supposed to be ending in Bwaise 1, and instead they directed them to go to Komabo where they started from, instead of allowing them to be in a parish where they never held any rally at all.
Thank you. Let's have another question over there. I'm going to give you just 10 more minutes. Yes, let's have this. Abubakar is also there.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm called Manja John Bosco. Now, my first question will go to the Honorable DPC, Mr. Mwonge. I'm called Manja John Bosco. I just like your ways. You are a very peaceful gentleman. And at times we have to forgive you because at times you are overpowered. Now, you talked about procession being unconstitutional. In the just concluded Kawempe by-elections, we saw Nambi's procession around Kawempe Vegas. Why is it that that procession was not interrupted, since it is unconstitutional? Then another one is about why is it that the deployment was so heavy at Kawempe Mbogo, where the problem was? Then another one, did you arrest the gentleman who dismantled the ballot boxes in Kazangola and the Kawempe Mbogo? We feel like hearing that good news from you. Now this one goes to the Electoral Commission. Madam, I come from Kazangola's parish, from Kazangola Central Zone, where the problem was. Now, we elected our councillor, and the ballot papers were teared, ballot boxes were dismantled. What are you going to do for us? Are you going to compensate for the councillors who participated in that election? Then another one is about, again, it goes to Mr. Mwonge. News has it that you are the gentleman who invited the sister security agencies to come and give a support to our police. Is it true? If it is true, because the way how Mayor brought it, it's like you didn't get it. Should we assume that you are entirely responsible for what those sister agencies did to the people of Kawempe? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Abubakar, the microphone is not working. You can.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yes.
My name is Abubakar Lwa. I work with the Daily Monitor. I'm a journalist at that. When Afande Mwonge was talking, he talked about journalists focusing on things that make news. Yes, that's our work. Because if something doesn't make news, there's no way we will focus on it. When a dog bites man, that's not news. But when a man bites a dog, that's news. So when police is beating people that it's supposed to protect, it's news. And even when people are beating police who are supposed to protect them, still that's news. So I don't know what exactly you meant when you said media focuses on things that make news. Because our job is to tell people what happened in actually, when we were in Kawempe, our job was to tell people what was happening in Kawempe. So I don't think there was nothing wrong that was done by the media. The other thing I want to talk about what happened in Kawempe. Personally, I've covered by-elections, I had never seen a peaceful by-election like the one that was in Kawempe until the security disrupted the elections, personally. Because there was one in, sorry, I'm forgetting, where Miss Nakwede was, yes, Kayunga. Still, there was, of course, there were some glitches here and there, but in most of these by-elections, it's always the military and police that disrupt elections. But for Kawempe, I don't want to fault police. It was JAT and the military this time. So police, you were overpowered. What was your job as the police in these elections? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Abubakar. Abubakar, you could just help me pass the microphone to the gentleman. Oh, okay, and then we get it back to him.
Again, my name is Raymond Tamale.
Yes, Raymond.
And I work with NTV. To add on my colleague's comment, I remember the day that Nalukora was nominated, I did the story when Judge was apprehending him and arresting him. And I remember very well, if the DPC does not forget me, I asked you a question, and I asked you, where were you in this? And you replied me in Uganda. Wali agala nkolechi. If you remember very well that day. Why am I saying that? It's because the police is known to be friendly to people, and they understand how to work with people around. But then if the job of the police has been abandoned and your job is just to look on, why am I saying this? The day we were dropped and we were abducted, me and my colleague, and we were put in a drone, the day they dropped us at the police station, Kawempe, the deep RPC, Nanoka, almost cried. You know what he said in his words? He said, these boys are messing us up. Which boys? These boys are messing us up. Reason being is that the police has created a rapport with everyone, but then if police loses its mandate to keep law and order and someone takes the mandate, what happens? Business, violence, beating. So as a DPC, Mwonge, it is not good for you to just look on and say, you know what, we are overpowered and all that. Because at the end of the day, the funny thing about it is that when you meet Abu Bakari and he's a photographer, you're going to call him and tell him, come and take pictures for my wedding. You want him to take pictures on your wedding when his legs are broken or what?
Oh, his eyes can't. Thank you, Tamale. Just one microphone here for this gentleman, and then we move and go back. Just a minute. Let's finish with him. Him.
They say gender balance. So
okay, let's just give him, then we move to the ladies. Just him, please. His hands have been up for a long time. Then we'll get ladies now.
The audience.
Yes.
One person who has disassociates myself from blame. I don't like that blame game.
Name, please.
Now that each of the constituencies is represented, for instance, the security, electoral commission,
civil society.
I mean on the panel. Somebody responsible for news reporting and the politician. Now, I hope, although Kawempe North by-election is being taken as a case study, which is look beyond, because I was trying to compute the percentage of the entire members of parliament, which Council Nalukora represents, is only 0.1%. So let's look beyond. Now, let me come up with a solution. First of all, let's try to look at the by-elections which have taken place. Because I heard from the Fandesi submission, and his bio is right, that most by-elections are so sensitive. Now, if they are so sensitive, what makes them sensitive? If it's about people coming all the way from Masaka or from Arua to come and also campaign, we can do away with that, so that we reduce on the tension. Now, for electoral commission, good enough, our keynote speaker came out with some resolutions. that let the Electoral Commission be well sourced, both financially and in terms of personnel. Then for the media, yes, it's always good to report something which does not put people attention, okay?
But what if that is the reality? The media is a mirror of society. It reports what is happening.
Okay, now,
so it can't sanitize what shouldn't be sanitized.
No, what I'm saying, that let's try to look back at the by-elections which have taken place. Then find out, for instance, what happened in Kayunga. If started well, and then the military violated everything, then we can do away with that. But let's not blame people here. We should look at those elections. I mean, which have taken place. Then get good things out of them. Then we
Thank you.
separate the
Thank you. Let's have a lady now. Let's have a lady. And just for the record, we are not here to blame anyone. We are here to scrutinize what went wrong, because we cannot build consensus if we do not address what is not right, what hasn't happened right. Please.
Good afternoon. My name is Joan Lutu. My question is very simple to Afande. He said, yes, Joan Lutu. He said police works with sister agencies, which is okay and which is right, because every person has the people they want to work with. But my question goes, what happens when these sister agencies do wrong? Why do you always run away from them? And you say that is the opposition. They got uniforms and put them on. Where do they get the uniforms from? Why do you always run away when fire spreads out? Kindly explain to us.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanne. Let's have another lady over there. Let's first get a few ladies, then we come back to the gents. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Nachibule Shakira Nikita.
Shakira, yes.
My first question. I'm sorry, I have to. I'm sorry. My first question will go to Madame Rehma. About the Kazangola elections, where they're with observers. Now, these people came out and kicked the buckets that had the votes, and you people never came out to explain why.
Shakira, just speak for clarity. These people, which people are you referring to?
The security agencies.
Okay.
Yeah. And we thought maybe these votes were invalid, maybe, something like that, because we never got an explanation. And the other point goes to Mr. Muonge. The videos were all over circulating about these people kicking those buckets, and everyone saw them because they did it broad daylight. Mm-hmm. What was the problem? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Yes, lady. There was a hand. Ladies, let me see you. We give you the platform first, then we come back to the gents.
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. I'm Winnie. I work with Top Media. I'm glad to be a part of this dialogue. And please allow me, before forwarding my question, ask everybody for a big applause to Shade Uganda for such dialogues. I'm one lucky journalist who has been engaging in most of their dialogues, and they're quite doing good. Thank you so much. I commend everyone's effort towards all areas of the well-being of our motherland, Uganda, i.e. the security, leadership, the citizens, and well-wishers. Thank you so much for whatever you're doing to see our motherland, Uganda, run well. As a journalist, way from training, we very well know that no story buys a life. Every journalist knows that, I know. But coming back to what we have seen mainly in the by-elections in Kawempe, and in reference to my brother who has been seated here, Miracle Ibra, a workmate, he's one person that was beaten. I guess you also the news, that person that was beaten on the face, yeah. Yes. So my question directly goes to Mr. Abel, the security personnel available or present in this house. To what extent or to what level as security would you love the media to go or to be a part in the national public practices? That is my question, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Winnie. Thank you. Just pass the mic to. Okay, let's have that, and then we come back to this lady over here.
Thank you. I'm Diana from Kayunga.
Diana?
Yes, Diana from Kayunga. Yes, our case study is all about Kawempe because it's recent, but it's not different from what happened in Kayunga. My main issue, because many women were affected in Kayunga. Some was direct, others were not direct. But my main fear, my question goes to Afande. Why do your sister people you work with cover their faces if they are really doing the right thing? Because I believe if somebody's doing the right, they'll come without covered faces. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we just pass the mic here in front? There's a lady here.
Thank you so much. My name is Mutesa Sumta Esther, the Executive Secretary for Health in Kawempe Division.
Yes.
First of all, this is an opportunity that we have gotten, or that I've got, to talk to the EC and the DPC. I don't know whether it's a solution or it's a question. According to what has been happening in elections, Okuvira Dala way back, because they told us we mix, I'm going to mix, allow me mix Luganda and English, thank you. Lwaki tuba tuteekawo okulonda nga tumanyi nti ebintu nga bino bigenda happeninga? Lwaki okulonda temukujjaawo bujja ne mu announcing the people you know or that you really want already to take part? Because these injustices always have been happening on the opposition people only. We have never seen such injustices nga zi happening on the people of the NRM cadres. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Esther. Can we have the lady from KCCA, please, here? Then we can now move back to this gentleman and come back that side. Okay.
Thank you so much. First of all, I thank Shade for this engagement.
Let's be very quick. DPC says time is really running out.
I'm Nachobe Sylvia. I'm a woman counsellor and executive secretary, gender, community service and production, Kawempe Division. My concern is these elections that took part. Of course, I'm now talking as a councillor there from my electoral area. I see people are tortured, especially women. And I'm worried that the numbers that we got, the few numbers that elected for, that participated in these elections are going to still decrease. People are worried about 2026. Because if it happened, if such a thing happened, the security threats and everything in the MOP elections, then what of the 2026 elections? So I would appeal to organizations like Shade, even the panelists there. We go back down on the grassroots and we talk to our people. Because we are discussing here, but our communities are worried. They are still looking for some agents there. Some agents, some leaders, and they are imprisoning leaders every day. For example, like yesterday, one of the leaders in my parish was taken to CPS about the election. About these elections that took place. They are telling him that he rigged elections. Moreover, was supporting Obanaluku. So things are still happening in the communities. So I would appeal that we have a chance, us, of coming and talking and giving out our views. But we should go back on ground. People are worried, and even some of them are thinking of shifting in 2025 around December to go to the villages. And I don't know what is taking place.
Thank you.
So that is my humble appeal.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sylvia. Let's have just very few people now, and then we wind up. Just that gentleman behind you, and then you come back this side.
Thank you very much. My name is Mahande Joshua.
Yes.
First, I would like to commend all the panelists for their comments that they have given to us. Whether we agree with them or not, they have labored to defend their positions and what they saw. My first question probably goes to the DPC. the DPC ably referred the mayor to the operational order. I don't know whether many of us definitely know that we might not have the privilege of accessing the operational order. But my question is, was in the operational order, was there an order granting permission to the JAT to beat other officers, other probably citizens during electoral processes? Because none of us here will probably have access to that operational order. That you know it very well. But like I think Mr. Robert did state that in a bid to seek to end with consensus, as the day theme is, you are much better placed to help us understand some of these things, and we leave this place well satisfied.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joshua.
On the bit of the Electoral Commission, I think the Electoral Commission finds itself in a place that is very, very difficult. And beyond these elections, going into 2026, like my brother the other side said, that we must forecast into 2026, is that issues of, say, technical issues such as machine failures start to worry those who are going to participate in elections. And then you're going to see the same things happen at that particular point, instigating issues of violence on that very day. So it's incumbent that even when these elections have happened and all that has gone wrong, it's incumbent that you sit back and reflect carefully on some of these issues that could easily arise coming into 2026. And finally, I think to our brothers or in political parties, my brother here was speaking before with a lot of anger. And I personally understand, but if the DPC is saying that he had had an agreement, a discussion with the NUP leaders about the change of venue, I think the failure there is that the program was done with the Electoral Commission. And if the Electoral Commission is then not involved in the change of venue, where does this leave the other parties? Yes, yeah. We are going to find ourselves, yes, you're agreeing with this, then the Electoral Commission doesn't know, you start to blame the Electoral Commission equally. That they changed venue without our consent. So I feel let's take all the necessary steps. I know the environment is not the best. That is the truth we must speak about. The environment is not the best. But then we must at least labor to do what is just. Like we saw, the journalists recall all their journalists on ground that please, for safety purposes, let's withdraw from this. Are political parties confident enough to even recall our members to participate in an election? Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. Here, just here. One last person here. Ooh, over here. Her and then him.
Balamusiza nnyo banyabo ne basebo. Amanya gange bampita Nabasire Edrin. Ndi volunteer mu shed. Naye madamu wa Electoral Commission simanyi training yamwe bwebeera nga mutraining abantu abakulembera ebyokulonda. Abantu abo be batukulembera ate batuwabya. In most cases bagenda ne boogera naffe nga tebatumanyi. Naye naayogera gwe ekikukosa. Abantu abo nga baba training okulondesa. Nsuubira mwino baga ntemulaga parties ze mukola ki? Ze muwagira. Naye abantu abo balaga parties ze balaga side ze baliko nga balaga ate ffe tubasasula kubanga nange nsasula omusolo. Government yebakola ki? Yebasasula. Naye abantu be mu training be baleetedde nnyo ate n'akavuyo mu kulonda naddala okwabaddewo e Kawempe. Nze ku polling station kwennondera omuntu wammwe eyali ayuza akapande yakolawo violence w'amaanyi olw'ensonga yateekawo amateeka ye ge yali ayagala gakole mukadde akasobola okukola byakola ki in bracket mu nkootinga nti yabba akalulu naye asobola okuba nga yakabba kubanga yatugobawo bwongobawo kitegeeza kyokola nze si kyekinsanyusa. Nze mu byobufuzi nina emmere gyendya gye sikola ki gyesira n'esheedu yantematemako emmere emu sikyagikola ki sikyagirya through training gye yampa kubanga nze nali mpagira nga toyinza kuŋŋaana nga kyekyenjagala kyeki kyekyo kigende ku saidi y'abasirikale nange kwolwo olw'okulonda nange nafuuka omusirikale kubanga nange najjayo combat babitunda ku street kwebiri nange nafuuka omusirikale nange omusirikale gwe bali batadde ettula nampa ekitiibwa reason nange namuwa ensonga zange ze nali nkola ki baneebano abantu temubatya ffe tubasasula abantu tebaleeta mateeka gagenda kukunyigiriza gwe omuntu wa wansi bo basasulwa gwe tokola ki tosasulwa so olina obbaga nti nange ndi muntu abantu bano batutiisatiisa nnyo however much nti pate zonna zaalina abasirikale NUP yalina abasirikale wadde tebalina byambalo naye balina ba full soldier nga nabo baki nga NRM password nze nali ngimanyi.
Thank you.
Mukama abankuumire.
Thank you. Just give the microphone behind you. And I think you'll be the last person to comment, and then we'll have Dr. Matembe wants to say something before you all respond. Thanks,
you. Ms. Moderator, the organizer of this conference.
Your name?
I'm Ron Mayanja, activist journalist. I have like 2 questions. Both of them, I think, they are heading to Ms. Rehema. It's good to hear. Madam Rehema, the Constitution is clear. Article 60 and 61. It's very clear that EC, the way how EC came, how it operates, and you the bosses of police, the security, when it comes to security. But my question here is, if EC, you the bosses of police, how comes that police overtake your work? That is question number 1. In that, when police overtake your work, they also invite sister agencies. For instance, 28 journalists in the Kawempe by-elections were tortured, beaten. Some of them lost their equipment. Others, up to now, they are not yet back to their offices. How do they operate life? How are they earning life? Now, when these journalists, where are they supposed to go to, or who are they supposed to charge if they are going to court? Is it police, electoral commission, or government? Secondly, there were 15 polling stations, I think in Angola, Kawempe, sort of. This madam talked of it. Their results were not counted. They were not added on the final results. But when you look at the Gazette, there are different results. Where did the Electoral Commission got those results? Yet, was it LOC3, Councillor, that side, Kazangola? The results were not counted. Where did EC get those results? Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much. We've closed questions. I'm sorry. Let's, Dr. Matembe, would you like to speak from here? Or you'll speak from there. Okay, no problem.
I just want, having sat here and not gone away, I had wanted to hear what the panelists are saying and what the people here are saying. So first of all, I want to thank Shade for enabling people to come and discuss these things. You should feel good. Otherwise, people are dying in their homes. Honestly, but now it has given you opportunity to power your hearts out. And so I'm so happy that you've done this. We need to remember that this Shade, we have listened to objectives and what they want. And this conference was to help them on the strategies and see how best they can really work towards ensuring peaceful electoral processes. And so whatever information is here is bound to help them to see how they move forward. Now, my concern now is I presented here, in fact, 9 strategies. The 10th was mine from my heart, which I know is the most crucial one anyway. But I didn't hear anybody make any comment on the strategies I put. So I'm wondering whether you will take them and consider them as you go to continue doing your work. Because it seems that they were all forgotten about, and the focus was on this debate here. But I hope when you go as an organization, you will look into those strategies. But at least in my strategies and then my conclusion, you are able to see that my 10th strategy is the most effective because that one works on you as a person. And I want to bring it to these people who don't seem to have even taken my strategy there. I want to say that surely peaceful electoral processes, in my view, should be required by everybody, whether you are police, whether electoral commission, whether opposition, whether government. I thought it should be good for us. And when we are discussing like today, for me in my mind, I wish there would be no judgment, no blame, no denial, no what. It is like putting it on the table and say, sure, these unpeaceful elections are not good. I don't know. I didn't hear the Electoral Commission and the police honestly sharing our views. Who think or believe that this thing was no good. And it is not only here. I mean, we all know. We know all the elections, like you said, from me, I saw 2001. That's when my mind was switched off from my movement, which I had loved. Remember, from 1986 to 2001, we were in the movement, enjoying, saying, God, you delivered us. No more rigging of elections, no more violence in elections, no more. And I was the Minister for Ethics and Integrity, and the first bad thing we faced was when Besigye decided to contest as a president, and when in what happened in Kanungu, is it in Rukunjiri there in Kanungu, when this man James of Garuga, I was in Mbarara as a minister, but determined forever and forever to hold grip on power. We are not going to have these peaceful elections. So for me, what I want to tell you people, I really sympathize. I sympathize with you. And the warning I want to give you, warning, caution, is that I was here when Museveni took over power. And all the police, they were all chased away. And we had to replace the police. Imagine. So beware. When you...
Police and security agencies are the ones that provoke and cause violence. I don't want to believe in this. Like my brother, the journalist of NBS, I mean NTV. Is it Mr. Lubowa?
Yes.
Mr. Lubowa, you are of NTV and NBS?
NTV, Daily Monitor, Nation Media.
Yeah, Nation Media.
NTV, yes.
We are all here to serve our country, and we don't want to give a bad image to our country. But I remember very well, I was with you. I was with this gentleman who was beaten, the one of record, the one who is moving out.
Top TV.
Top TV. And what happened after Honorable Nalukola being nominated? Because we need people to know. The media is showing the other part when he's being arrested. But you're not showing the part when Nalukola approaches police. There was we had put a cutoff, you remember very well, on Tula Road, as you slope down to Electoral Commission. We had put a cutoff. Mr. Nalukola had parked across the road. When he was coming out The candidate of FDC was next. They came in big numbers and they were stopped by police. They told them, please wait, we still have a candidate the other side. Can you hold on? Now what they did, they parked just next to Mr. Nalukola's convoy. When Mr. Nalukola was coming out with his supporters, police told them, please come this side, let the people of FDC enter. After they have entered, you go pick your vehicles and move. Nalukola instead started walking away. And you are not showing the public this. And I'm seeing now everyone is quiet. So this is what happened. Media, please help us.
It's okay.
Yeah, but of course, I want to call on media. These are the things that you need to share with the public. Let the public know what happened. Now, on the issue of Nalukola being arrested, I remember...
let's allow him to proceed, please. Allow him to proceed, yeah.
And
just
I
allow him to speak.
was at the roundabout of Tula. We had agreed that he's going to move through Tula Road to... No, he was going through Tula Road. I know them. I have the memory here. He was going through the roundabout of Tula to Kutano, down Bombo Road, uses the route of near police, Kawempe police station, Mbogo Road, and he comes to Mbogo Playground. That was the agreed route. And I was at the roundabout of Tula, making sure that we give him safe passage. From nowhere, I get information that the nominated candidate of NUP is arrested. I dashed to where he was being arrested from. The gentleman of the other one who was stoned would bear me witness. Yes, and he can give you the story. You see, we have different stories. But he was also stoned. Were you not stoned, my brother?
Miracle, were you stoned?
Miracle, tell the truth. Were you not stoned also on that fateful day?
Was it a stone that hit your eye?
But I was with you and Mr. Rubowa when you are telling me the stone cut him. Didn't he tell me the truth? And what? And the stone cut him. Yeah, but he was first beaten. Yes. But even...
Who pushed?
And pushed down and... okay, now I get it right. But you remember very well, when I arrived at the scene, stones were flying like nothing. You remember? Did you capture the other side of the stones being pelted at us? Because we are here to tell...
Yeah, the truth. Yeah, it's very important.
Afande, with due respect, I respect you so much because you're a friend of mine. Afande, if you notice the story that I did that day when Miracle Ibra was being beaten, in my narration, I said, abatuuze b'e Kawempe batandise okuba abasirikale ba Jati amayinja abajjati batandika okuba amasasi. That means I showed the other side.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You mentioned it, but
Yes.
you didn't show the public.
I even showed the camera person who was showing that they are shooting, given the
No, you showed the shooting, but the stones being pelted at police.
What about the judge person who did like this on his head when they were throwing stones at him, sir?
I want to see this incident of the stones.
Sometimes also just maybe to defend Raymond, you are not able to also capture every little thing, every aspect. But where you don't have the footage, at least you mention it like he did.
So Raymond, thank you. Thank you. At least you are one in a million who can say this. When Robert says that for them they will they'll capture the attention of the public by giving us what we want to see or what we want to hear. Please be, you be balanced, don't be biased. Show even the public that police is being stoned. I'm happy if you said abajati batandika okukuba amasasi oluvannyuma lw'okuba nti babakola ki babakuba amayinja. But why do you go that extra mile of really stoning us?
Okay, yes, Afande, I want you to mind, just if you could, we are running out of time.
We are running out of time.
Yeah, but I appreciate this is quite an important.
So I answer the question of the deputy mayor that we are the ones who cause violence. Violence is caused on us. And for us, we are not violent people. We are not violent at all. Then the issue of why you say, I think I answered that, and even Electoral Commission was aware about this. It is not me who made that program. It is Electoral Commission that made the program. We are in close touch with them, and we agreed that the other playground in Komamboga was vacant, and no candidate was there in that parish, and it was all well until that time when they decided that no, let us now go back to our earlier ground. Mr. Mayinja JB, were the people arrested who destroyed the electoral materials? It's unfortunate that, Robert, I saw you recently signing a document with Uganda Police, and you were ably represented by SSP Don Muhwezi. And I was hoping that very soon media would come back and work with us. And I pray that you come back. You come back and we work. Because people need to know that arrests are being done and these people are prosecuted. My brother, arrests are being done.
Robert, you'll
investigations are on, and people are being prosecuted. It's only that media distanced themselves from us. Now they no longer show this. But I pray very much that you come back and we work together. We need you.
Yes, Afande.
Is it true that sister agencies were invited? I told you about the operational order, and I know the mayor is in position to access it. It is not so restricted to him. He's a chairperson of security, by the way. He doesn't want to mention about it, but he is, and I know in your capacity you can access this. Okay. You can even talk to the RDC, who is also our chairperson, and afana RDC nsubira nti meya yesawa yonna wayagalira ebintu bino abifuna ate abiine era. On nomination day, maybe to give you a highlight of the operational order, the commander Kampala Metropolitan was in charge of the operation at operational level. IGP was at the other level, the big level. Then at tactical, it was the RPC. But I was there, and that's why you are seeing me around. So you can't say I wasn't around. These other things.
There were, I think, maybe just very quickly.
I think they are the same.
There were also questions about procession guidelines. You said the processions are unconstitutional, but so why was NRM procession allowed if it's unconstitutional? Is the law being applied selectively?
It was not selective as such. Those of you who attended the other rally at Kutano, Kukasawe, didn't NOP have a procession? Were we not guiding them? You see, the public wants to only look at something small and make it so big. But I remember after the nasty incident of arresting Honorable Nalukola, Electoral Commission invited us. We had a discussion, and the JAT was completely out of saturation. Yes, JAT was completely out of saturation after our discussion with the Electoral Commission. And I would expect the journalists to also capture this and tell the public that after our meeting with the Electoral Commission, Mr. Lubowa, please help us when you come back, that JAT was out of saturation. I'm really sorry about what happened on the elections day. It wasn't called for. And I remember there is a lady who was, there is a lady, I think, of NBS, who was telling me, Afande, I ran at your back and you protected me. I really didn't see the lady, but she was telling me, you did a tremendous job to stop these people. The moment they called me about what was happening in Kazo, Angola, I dashed very fast to that place. And those guys ran away. Why were they running away when they knew they were doing the right thing? So we really prevailed over. It's only unfortunate that they targeted the media. I don't know. They never wanted media to capture them or what. But there is an investigation going on. I'm sure majority of you have been invited. You have been invited and you have recorded statements. And I'm very sure you are aware that some people have been arrested. The unfortunate part is we are not getting information because Robert has not opened the gates for us so that we can now share the information to the general public. Okay. But there is something going on. The anti-corruption team is around. There is a team of police headquarters which is also investigating the same. And soon, I'm sure the public will know about what took place and how best they have handled this.
So there was a question of who takes responsibility for the violence and brutality that was meted on supporters.
Like I said, it was not called for. And like I told you that there is a document that guided us very well. And this is the document they are referring to ensure that there is justice.
Okay. Thank you. I think we can move to you, Rema. Are you done, Afande? Yeah, okay, thank you. Rema?
Thank you very much, moderator. I will not go back and forth because
if you could start us with a way forward, because we are also talking about building consensus. How do we ensure that 2026 is peaceful?
Okay, the way forward, starting from the person who asked about what the councillors are going to do. They've already sued the Electoral Commission, by the way, as I talk, and I think what is going to happen, we've opted for ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution, maybe something of the sort, you know, settlement out of court, if that is possible. So that's what we are looking at. But on the other hand, on the way forward, we should, citizens, even the society, should refuse to be used as tools for violence by politicians. I have many politicians here who have approached me, you know, for bribe. It's not only NRM, but even people from opposition. So, as they are alleging bribery, voter bribery and corruption and all, like Honorable Miriam Matembe talked about, they should look into their hearts. It starts with us. If we all want peace, then we should find a way of achieving peace, not just accusing the other side. They are also doing it. Both sides are doing it. So let's start from there. Okay. That's a good starting point.
Okay. Thank you. You want to respond to some of the questions?
They were mostly about Kaza Angola, what is going to happen. Yes. And somebody talked about Article 60 and 61. Like he was saying that we are the bosses of police, but it's not true. We have our mandate as Electoral Commission to conduct free and fair elections and referenda, And the police also has its own mandate, which is to keep law and order. So we are not their bosses, but we work hand in hand together. So we have no control over their activities.
Okay.
That's on record.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Robert.
Thank you so much for the feedback. I think I want to really thank SHADE and the actors for bringing us together. And most importantly, for identifying the most pivotal person, Mama Miriam Matembe, who has delivered us from where we were to a point of the DPC saying, okay, this should not have happened. Because now you've shifted his mindset to saying this should not have happened. It seems you have touched all our souls, and I wish he could go and touch many other souls outside of this room. The other thing that I think should be done going forward is to demilitarize elections. We do not have any reason whatsoever of having the military man security during an election, unless it ceases to be a civic activity of ordinary citizens of Uganda. If the police is overstretched, we will understand, but it should not be a first point of reference that the military is at the scene. And all these war vehicles and weapons are all manning elections. You're talking about something else, not a free, fair election where people can feel free to go and cast their votes. The numbers keep going down for people who turn out to vote, and I think they'll continue decreasing if we insist on doing the same way. As security, I think you need to really try to demystify this security thing to us to understand, and maybe understand where you're coming from when you say you're going to use JAT and other security sister forces to man elections. The other thing is about reflection meetings, where elections are happening. I think the Electoral Commission should not only convene with the security forces, there are many other actors to the process. So they should be in that meeting to take stock of what is happening, to give you evidence of what it is that is happening in the field, so you can make very informed decisions that are not biased towards the security forces. Lastly, I think it's the position of the media in an election. We all need to appreciate the critical media role that the media plays in an election. Yeah, everybody is vying for a piece of the media, and it will be very counterproductive if the judge comes at the last minute and starts batting everyone to almost near death. I think there should be no amount of justification for what the security did to journalists and many other Ugandans, by the way, not only journalists, because journalists are only part of the other Ugandans. If we are talking of a progressive society, we should not be beating people before they are tried before courts of law, for them to have a right to reply. And then a fair, neutral arbiter, makes a decision. I think that way we'll be talking of consensus. And very finally, I think it's extremely important also that we are privy to these reports. I do not know what report the police gave about maybe the beatings of journalists. If the DPC had it in mind that Ibra was just stoned, he wasn't stoned. He has never said that about his predicament. He was beaten and lost his balance, pushed into a trench and hurt himself around the forehead, not the visible open wounds that we saw. Those ones were occasioned by the beatings. Thank him for being honest at the end of the day and remaining calm. But we are not opening our gates for you again until you show remorse, until you show us visible action of apology does not even work. We need to really sit around. The DPC the IGP is completely silent about these things, and only leaving the spokesperson to come and take charge. When the situation is not normal, I think it is prudent that he comes out, takes charge. Equally, the CDF, because at some point he even tweeted and said the beating has not even started. When we complained that there was too much brutality, he said the beating hasn't even started. I do not know what will happen if the beating then starts. So I think such statements should also be avoided by the powerful, because their words come almost with force of law. The influence the overzealous men in uniform to get out of their hands, to beat, to appease the CDF. So we should never take such statements for granted, and I think we should stop them where we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Robert. Your Worship, you're the last person, and then we move on to the next item on the program.
Yeah, I want to join my voice on my fellow panelists by thanking SHADE for having organized such an important forum. Madam Moderator, of the questions, and the DPs has just tried to answer some of them. Yes, the issue of members of parliament from other areas surfaced here. I wouldn't have condemned the NRM for bringing in their NRM MPs because it's a party, a registered party in these elections. FDC did, even NRM, and some ministers came in. But we are talking about JAT. Because you can't say that I'm now redeeming the question of whether, why the security forces, the JAT and the rest were in these elections. Because we had MPs from NUP also coming in. You know, you can't equate the MPs with security forces, with JAT. I think that's not comparable. You also talked about stone throwing. Yes, it's true. Maybe there was some kind of stone throwing, or people were trying to defend themselves. But still, you can't retaliate stone throwing with live bullets. Professionally, I'm sure that there is a way you can retaliate, or you can defend yourself from if anyone has thrown a stone. But with live bullets and violence. And what ignited those stone throwing? It was the behavior of the JAT. That's what we are talking about. You talked about investigations which are going on. Still, the investigations are one-sided. It's only NUP people who are being investigated. I stand to be corrected if there is any other person in the docs. It's only NUP people. Right now, Honorable Matembe, Kawempe division is vulnerable. Our Minister for Works, in such a situation where we are facing floods and the rest, the Minister of Works is in custody, is in prison. He was arrested by drone, picked up from his house by drone at night, thrown into police cells. Illegally, he spent there 3 days, more than 48 hours. You know what they did? There's an office which has been created. If members are not aware, the office took over the PCO office at Wandegea, and they took 2 offices. They are claiming to have come from anti-corruption. But their duty is to witch hunt the NUP members, and the offenses are disturbing peace in elections. They disturb the peace in elections. That's the offense. And the Secretary for Works was aligned with, before the judge, the magistrate, and I was one of the sureties. And they say the mayor is not substantive enough to stand the surety for the Secretary for Works. And they say, a mayor, a full mayor. The state said, I will not answer because the mayor did not. I'm not sure that is the mayor of Kawempe division. In fact, that's what she said. She's not sure that I'm the mayor of Kawempe division. And my secretary is rotting in prisons now, in jail. So those are the investigations. So what the money from Wankole called investigations, they are not. They are just witch hunting, and I think they are persecuting some of our members. That's why I'm saying violence will not end. But I want to join Madam Matembe on the strategies she brought. I don't want to leave out the electoral reforms, not only electoral reforms, as I've narrated that violence started after someone has in fact exceeded the time he was supposed to rule this country. That's when a violence started. And he's fighting hard to make sure that he stays in power. And that's what brought the violence, because he's fighting himself hard to make sure that he stays in power. And to the extent of even changing the constitution to make sure that it befits him and he makes it easy for him to stand. And that's where we should go back and start from there. Can we start by reverting back to a peaceful constitution? Can we amend the constitution back to the original one we had, which had no violence in elections? Can we come up with electoral reforms and make sure that, in fact, when we are changing the constitution, some of the strategies I can propose is to have even the security officers for the electoral commission. Can we have electoral commission? Those employees of electoral commission, inclusive of the commission itself, the commissioners and the commissioner general, being appointed through the normal procedure, through public service. Because there are some countries which appoints those electoral commission officials through public service. Because where we are now, even the security personnel, the officers of police are appointed by one person. He's the person responsible for appointment and promotion. So put your own shoes. He's looking, waiting for promotion. Whatever he does must be pleasing. As the saying goes, the one who pays the piper is the one who chooses the tune. And he is the one to say, you should stay here, or you should be promoted, or never to be promoted. No wonder, just recently we heard that someone who participated in those violence, he will be promoted because he acted right for it, in his opinion, in someone's opinion. And no one, I wonder, my colleague, the man from Wankole did not talk about it. That there is a statement which came from the army commander that promotion is awaits the one who, that person who participated in beating of the journalists and the rest. So mine is to have electoral reforms. Madam Matem, the RCC was disturbing you. I'm of the view that the chairperson electoral commission and all the commissioners should cease to be appointed by the president or Mr. Museveni as it is these days. Can't they go through, or can they be appointed on merit through the public service? Since they are public employees, they are full-time workers of this government. Why are they not appointed through the public service so that they should conduct themselves professionally, not being biased to one person, and that is the person who appoints them.
Okay.
So basically, that is what I had.
Thank you. May we give our panelists a round of applause for their insights, and also to you, you can clap for yourselves. You've been a wonderful audience. Your insights, your questions have enriched the conversation that we've had. I have been told that after this session, we're now moving to the launch of the handbook. And this will be done by Dr. Miriam Matembe, the RCC, the mayor, the ED Shed, the ED Kadi. But before that, Sharon, the project officer Shed, will come here and give us a brief about the handbook. But also, I was requesting, can my panelists all be part of the launch of the handbook? If that's allowed, I think it would be a nice thing. Sharon, please come over here and you give us a brief about the handbook. And after the launch, the RCC will give us closing remarks, and then we shall have a photo moment. Sharon? Hello? Okay. Okay. Sharon is not here, so we are in the capable hands of a substitute.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm called Claire Ogwang, and I work with Sharon. Briefly about this handbook is a peace guide to show what our local women peace monitors are doing in the community. And briefly, what they are doing, people will ask us why women. And the book briefly says, us women are natural peace builders. Naturally, we are peaceful. Someone is asking, are you sure? Let one of our peace monitors answer that. Are you sure?
Very sure.
Thank you. Naturally, women are peace builders. So basically, briefly what they are doing, when there is any chaos, ruckus that is coming in, they usually report about it. We gave them tablets, and that is what they use in collecting data. Secondly, they sensitize the community about peace building. Thirdly, they mediate. Number 4, we do the collaboration with the authorities. That is why the RDC is here, the RCC is here, the DPC is here, the mayor, and the EC, the representative from the EC. So we don't work at collaborations. And we also do mobilization. Lastly, they collect data using the tablets. Briefly, that is what the handbook is saying, but everyone will be able to get a copy today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Claire. May I now invite, but Claire, I think I still need you around just to guide me. Where are they going to stand? Over there? Okay, for the launch. Have you also agreed to my request to have my wonderful panelists all join and take the honors and do the honors? Okay, thank you. Dr. Matembe, the people are here. You'll be joining the RCC, the mayor, the ED shed. Can we have the ED shed come over here? Also the ED of Kadi, may you also join us here. And where's the RCC? Okay, Mr. RCC, please come and join us. Just guide that team. I think we shall all be standing over here. DPC, please come and do the honors. This is it. So it is going to be a signing. Okay, but they're asking, can it move? Yes, so you are signing and you're launching and then signing. I don't know how we are going to launch. Yeah. Are we going to just count down? We do a countdown? Okay. Let me have you here, all here. We first count down, we launch, and then you sign, Doctor. So let's count from 3. Closer. No problem. Sure. In the middle. Yeah. I was thinking I think you're one by one, but we first launch. Let's do a countdown. So I'm going to do a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and then we'll just clap and say we've launched, and then you will be the first to sign. Yes? Okay. In 3, 2, 1, we've launched the handbook. So Dr. Matembe, you lead us through the signing ceremony. Okay, followed by RCC. RCC, please come and sign. We have the mayor. Just sign anywhere you feel comfortable. Okay. Your worship. Let's have you sign as well. Your worship. Where are the books? Okay. EC, you're next. Good. EC, you're next, Rehema. DPC, you'll sign after her. Thank you. Afande, please come and sign. Okay. Roberts, prepare to sign. Okay. Then Kadi, I think you will sign next. Then you will. Okay, Stephen Idished. Okay, that's very brief. Thank you very much. So where?
So now we are going for photo moment.
And then we can.
Then we have this pledge frames. I don't know. We can do it together.
Pledge.
We can do it together with the photo moment.
Okay. So the RCC is not closing. We finished signing, but we wanted the RCC to close, and then we go for the photo, and also do the. Yeah, we should actually take a photo for. Yeah, let's first have a photo here for the people who've signed, and then we have you close RCC. Then we go for a group photo outside. Yes. Okay. We're done? Okay. RCC, let me give you the microphone, and you close, and then.
Yes, no problem. Okay. I want to thank the Shed for this organization. They have made us good, really, to bring us together on board. And the job is it is very small to close the seminar. And what I wanted to tell my mayor here, that please let us work together, because that is very important. The day I came here, I met him and I rang him to come to my office, but he's just dodging me. I don't know why. So being busy for almost a year now, because I reported in August, the first person I rang is you, and the honorables who is here in your constituency, because we cannot work alone. The police here, we are together. The EC, we are all together. Honorable Matembe, I'm thanking you. Every time you are talking about this, to work together and stop harassing people. And we have talked about the CDF to promote the people who have done the bad job. But when I watched very, very well the deputy CDF in the parliament, he apologizes for what has happened to Kawempe. So I'm also apologizing for the media people, what has happened. We've tried our best. I have tried my best as a chairman of the security in Kawempe to bring to calm the situation, and I've done it. So for that note, I'm closing this seminar. For all of you, the people, I'm closing. And I don't know how the issue will help us to the people, to the councillors, because they wanted to have the councillors, and the people of that area needed to be at least be represented. And I'm sure I'm going to talk to the chairman of the Electoral Commission to see that at least, yeah. Okay. Now I'm closing this seminar. I wish you well where you are going.
Where are we having the photos from? Are we doing it out? No, a group photo, all of us, with the participants. So also we are going to do 2 rituals in one. When we're doing the group photo, we also want some people to hold these cards here. These are our peace pledges, right? Yeah, so we'll need... Okay, Dr. Matembe, there's a request that the ladies here, the women of SHED, want to have a photo moment with you. If you could... Okay, SHED women, please come and have a photo with Dr. Matembe. Let's... And the men, yes, okay. Can they hold the women? Yes. Okay, just give them, like all photos now, people will just have to do that. It's a peace pledge. Yeah, it's a peace pledge, yeah. So someone help and hold from there? Yeah. Okay. Ladies, please come over here and have a photo moment with Dr. Matembe. Yeah, for now it's only the ladies, but the rest of us are all... Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. You're also going to hold this and make a peace pledge. Okay. Aha. Do you have your own? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Are we done? Okay. Okay. Okay.
These are for the SHED.
SHED women.
SHED volunteers.
Okay. So can we, are you done with this group? Because we have so many other photos to take with the peace pledge. We need the DPC, we need the mayor, we need everyone. So, yes, and let them first finish, then we'll have you people. Yes. They can be 2. I think they can be 2. They can, it's fine. Morgan. Okay, have we finished? Have the ladies finished? Because we have more photos to take. They've just arrived. Why didn't you tell me? Oh my God. I am also told that we have in our midst the country director for the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy. Why didn't we call him to sign the CD for Netherlands Institute? The country director for the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy. So he's been around the house. He just told me now. He's been around him. Yeah, he needs to sign as well. Oh my God, guys. I would also want to say. Okay. Okay. It's a peace pledge, the same as the other one. Can we have this? Okay. Now. Hi. Wait. Excuse me? We need that as well. Yeah, we need that here. Somebody help me. Let others also hold here, because... Just give me this thing, please. Just pass it over there. So we have this. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. What is that? So, okay. Okay.
atwerabira nga twabadde ffenna eno mu gurupu n'atu
There's a suggestion that our VIPs, our dignitaries sit, and then the rest of us can stand. Okay? Yeah. So let's have Dr. Miriam, let's have our RSCC have a seat. Mayor, EC, where you have a seat. The rest of us will find